Hello students, this is Monica, PGT in Computer Science from Sri GK Jain Higher Secondary School. Today I am going to teach for 12th Standard Computer Science Chapter 3 Scoping. By the word scoping refers to a word scope. Scope is nothing but it refers to the visibility of variables, parameters and functions in one part of a program to another part of a same program. This is the basic definition of the terminology scope. It is nothing but visibility in the sense if you declare or if you define any variable or a parameter or a function inside your program, so which part of the program is accessible or which part can be seen, which part can access that particular variable, parameter or the function is referred to as the visibility. In other words, you can also tell like if you declare a variable or a parameter or a function, so which part of the program can see it or can use it. It is nothing but the visibility or the scoping. And generally, if you declare any variable in the program, it will be global declaration. If suppose a global declaration is nothing but every part of the program can access that particular variable. If you declare a variable in a main function or in a subroutine function, you can access that particular global variable in anywhere of the program. That is what is called as your global scope. Coming to the variable scope, when a variable is assigned by using a is equal to operator to an instance. Instance is nothing but an object. If you assign a variable with using a is equal to operator to an instance, this process of binding the variable to the object is called as your mapping, and this mapping is done by using an operator which is called as is equal to operator is used to map the variables and the objects. And coming to the next terminology, namespace. In all your programming languages, keep track of all these mappings. So whatever mappings you are doing, if you assign a variable with an instance, for example, here I am assigning a variable is equal to a is equal to 5. This variable a has an integer value 5 is binded with an is equal to operator. So this is called as your variable declaration or initialization, because you are initializing the value to the variable a. So this process is what is called as a mapping or a binding, and this process will be keeping track of all these mappings, will be keeping track with the namespaces. Namespaces are nothing but it's just a container. Thus that container will hold you the names of the variables that map to the objects. So all these names will be carried out by the container. That is the name of the variable that is mapped to an object. That container is said to be a namespace. And coming to the example, consider a first example, a is equal to 5 and b is equal to a. This is nothing but the first statement tells you a is an variable with an is equal to operator and which is mapped to a integer value 5, which is nothing but your object. So here a is a variable and 5 is an instance or an object. So this is variable and this is object. So in this first statement, it clearly denotes that the variable a is mapped to an instance, that is the integer value 5. In the second statement, what second statement tells you? Guess now, b is equal to a. So whatever value you are declaring in a, that will be equals to b. So b is set equal to the variable a. So a takes the value 5. So what happens? B will also have the same value, integer value 5, since because you are assigning, you are declaring the variable B as the value whichever you given for the variable A. So this is a mapping. So A, after the mapping you will have like this diagram. A tends to 5 and B is also equals to 5 because the second statement tells you B is equal to 5. Coming to the next example. If you extend the example, A is equal to 5, B is equal to A and A is equal to 3. What this statement tells you? The first two statements you already discussed that A is a variable which holds the integer value 5, which is nothing but your instance or the object. And the second statement tells you that B will be equal to the same value whatever you defining inside the A will takes the value same value for B also. In the third statement, if suppose you are changing the value, you are updating the value for A it tends to be 3. Then what happened to B? The budding programmer might expect that B is also equal to 3. But that is not in this case. Since because you are already defined B is equal to A, which is nothing but 5. But the third statement, what you are doing? You are just changing the value of A, not the value of B. So what will happen? A tends to 3 and B will be 5 as it is. So this will be the mapping after changing the value of your A. So these two examples you have to clearly understand because this plays a major role in all your scoping concepts. A is equal to 5 is nothing but I told you A is a variable which is nothing but it is assigned to a object or an instance having the value 5. But in the third statement, if you change the value of A, it will not affect the value B because you already defined the B value as 5. So B is 5 and A you are updating as 3. Now coming to the next important topic, that is your LEGB rule. Coming to your LEGB rule. This LEGB rule defines the order in which the variables have to be mapped to the object in order to attain the value. It is nothing but in which order it has to be mapped and in which order the output is coming for the program. So that order is basically defined by a concept called as LEGB rule, and you will clearly understand after the example so that the concept will be clearly understood by you. This is an example for your LEGB rule. In the first statement, in the first line, x is equal to outer x variable, display function, x is equal to inner x variable with print x and display. If you execute these statements, okay, this 4th and 5th statement, this 4th statement and 5th statement gives your output as what? This is the question mark. If you execute the statements in order, what output will be for this particular statements? Print x denotes or defines your x value and display function moves to the display function. So first statement, if I execute the print x, it gives an output as outer x variable. If I execute my 5th statement display, it automatically executes my display function. Inside my display function I have inner x variable. So this will be my output. How comes? Since because I am executing and this same x variable, if you know clearly and understand the concept, you will clearly get the concept of LGB. The same x variable resides in two different places. One inside the display function and one in the uppermost level. Okay, if you execute the statements in a step-by-step procedure, then you will get the output as outer x variable and inner x variable. So from this example, you can clearly understand that a rule is followed in order to decide from which scope the variable has to be picked. And that rule is nothing but your LEGB rule. And that LEGB rule decides or gives you a clear picture that from which scope the variable has to be picked and from which statement it has to be sent for the output. So this is called as your LEGB rule. Now I am going to draw a diagram for your hierarchy. The scope are listed below in terms of hierarchy, that is highest to the lowest. So local L, enclosed E, global G and built-in B. So this is your hierarchy for LEGB rule. So coming for your local will defined inside the function or a class. It will be alive only inside the class or a particular function. Enclosed defined inside the enclosed functions, any enclosed functions. Global in the uppermost level. You will declare your variable in the uppermost level, so it can be accessed anywhere in your program. And built-in is your reserved names in your built-in variables. So this is the hierarchy: local, enclosed, global and built-in. We will discuss all these topics in very detail through my next video, because it's an important next topic in your third chapter. Students, today we discussed about what is the basics in your terminology scope and what is all about LEGB rule. How you can declare a variable and you can access a variable or a parameter or a function inside your program. Hope you understand the concept and you can also go through a textbook for better understanding. And for more educational videos, you can subscribe our YouTube channel for recent updates. And if you also give me a like button if you really like this video. And I see you all in my next video. Thank you, students.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.